Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be setting up OBS in 2023, and these are the things we're going to be working on. A lot of people ask me why I don't use Slob, so why I don't recommend it. It's very good to get into, but it's very limiting, and if you just set up OBS from the start, it's the best option. First, we have to have OBS installed. It's supported by Windows, Mac, and Linux, but we're mainly going to be using Windows today, and that's the most common system. If you scroll down a little bit, you could see the features and the way it's used. But again, we're going to stick to Windows and how to use the Windows version. So once we're ready, we're going to click download. And once we do, it's going to choose the installer location. You're just going to choose a safe place. Go ahead and hit save. And after that, it's going to pop up on the top right. You could click the download button, double click it again. And once you do that, it will pop up the rest of the setup. You're going to click next and choose the install location. Once you're done with that, we're ready to go for the next step. Now we're going to set up the most important OBS setting. As you can see at the top, we have a ton of settings up here, but don't worry too much about those right now. Along you have your preview, some scenes, some sources, what monitor we're on. You can see how you can exit stream, start stream, things like that. Your scenes and your sources again, we're going to hit file and we're going to click settings. And once we do, that's going to take us to the general. Don't worry too much about this. There's nothing really here that you really need to work on or change. Up at the very top, there's a theme if you could choose if you want, but don't worry about too much. You're going to need to set up your account, check the service and connect to the account from there. And this is going to be the bread and butter of how to set up OBS. So we need to go ahead and switch it to advanced. And once we have advanced open, we have some new options to mess with. We have NVENC and X264, which causes a lot of confusion. X264 is CPU based and NVENC is GPU based. It really depends on what's better for you for your system, but generally NVENC is the better option. NVENC is going to run better and make it a little bit less pixelated, and we want to fine tune our settings here so we can do as best and not get that encoding overload. So at the very top, we have 1920 by 1080 for resolution. That's the max that we have, but the lowest we could turn to is 1280 by 720. It again depends. You want to test and make sure that doesn't pop up. We have bitrate, which is going to be internet based. 6000 is the most you could do on Twitch at the moment, and the lowest is 3000. Next, we have the rate control, which is CBR. We're not going to touch CBR. It's going to be the same across the board. We have a keyframe interval and frame rate. Max frame rate is going to be 60, lower end is going to be 30. Keyframe interval is going to be 2 seconds across the board, so don't worry about touching that. And we also have the preset quality. It's going to change the difference between how fast things work. This is another area. If something's not working, you could slow it down or speed it up. So you're going to go ahead and put it in these settings here, and these settings are going to predict how well you're going to be encoding and doing different things on your computer. We have the recording tab, which you might want to change the location, and audio tab and the replay buffer, but there's really not much else you want to check out here. Now we're going to check out some other settings. At the very top here, you have desktop audio. By default, it will be default, and we're going to set it to disabled. For a future video, you'll know more about it. You also have a monitoring device that needs to be what your output so you can hear. Make sure it's, for me, it's like the Logitech. Make sure it's set up as that. The video can change and you have to test these. That's just a give or take. The hotkeys we're not going to touch. Same thing with accessibility and the same thing with advanced. We're not going to touch too many things, but it's important to go over that we need the default desktop audio to be disabled. We're also going to go ahead and quickly set up a mic, so that's going to be over in your sources. You also see your preview, that's kind of what's going on there. Hit the little plus icon, choose audio input capture, and it has a couple options. Once we get there, we're going to name it and create new. Go ahead and name it mic or whatever you'd like. From the drop down, you're going to select what is your main output device. You could check in your settings if you don't know, but make sure this is selected. Once we go from there, we have our audio mixer right here next to sources. You can adjust the volume, and we have this whole area to mess around with. There's a couple fun things we could do. We can unhide and hide all preference, and we can move back by right clicking again. Advanced audio properties is kind of important. The left and right balance, the off, the monitoring, and the tracks. We're gonna be messing with that a little later, but don't worry too much. We also have one more thing we could check out, and it's the filters. We have all these options of filters that you can add and move around with, but right now your mic will be picking up and it will be outputting to your stream. We're also going to set up some docs. What we're going to do is docs from the drop down menu, hit chat. You have this little pop-up box you're going to do. It's a pain in the ass to honestly set up, so you have to kind of wait and drag it around until it gets to the top and it's highlighted blue. Once it's up there, it's going to be really weird, but you could drag it again, move it, and it will be okay. You could drag these little things when the symbol shows up, and you can make it bigger or smaller. The next thing we're going to add is stream information, and it's another important thing we need for title, our live notification, and our game. Same thing again, you have to kind of drag it and move it around weirdly. These are the two main things you need, your chat and your stream information. We could go over alerts in the next video, but right now this is just the basic setup. We have our mic, it's capturing something, and hopefully we can just hit the stream button and it will all work. Again, please test things. There's also a bandwidth test mode that you can enable in your stream key section. Check those out. And that is it for the first video. If you want to check out any of my socials, you could scan, or they will be down below. There will also be a link to the next video, along with on the top of the video, there'll be a little place you could click. We're going to set up stream elements, mix it up, things like that, other things we could add to our stream and improve OBS. I'll see you guys later.